your computer friend Connie here. Today we're going to talk about how to prevent crashes in your Microsoft programs and also about how to kind of clean stuff up. So I don't know if you've ever been there where you've been working on a document and it's probably your 7th time that you've opened it because it just keeps crashing all day long. Or maybe you've inherited a document from somebody else and you're working away and you realize, this font is a different size or a different style, and like you start fixing that one area and just to realize a page later you have another problem again. So how do you fix it all and fix it quicker? And how do you maybe prevent those crashes? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show this to you within Microsoft Word, but the same kind of principles could be done or used when we're looking at Microsoft Excel as well. So I'm talking about this today because I've asked you guys many times what you want me to talk about, what your questions are, and I'm thankful that some of you are replying and letting me know. And so this is one of the questions I received recently from one of you asking me how to fix this. So this is for you, and let's just get into it and see how this works. All right. So what we're going to do is we are in Word right now, and I have a really messy looking document. As you can see, there's different fonts, there's different font sizes, different font styles. This is a different style here. There's even some highlighting. So we're going to go through this document a few different ways, just so you kind of see a few options available to you, and then you can decide based on your document which option works the best, right? So, we always need more than one choice. And then we'll also get back to that question of, why is my document crashing? How do I prevent that? We'll come back to that one that question here as well. So let's just start with dealing with all the inconsistencies in this document. So I'm going to start by selecting everything and just getting rid of all that inconsistency of formatting and clearing the formats really is what I'm going to do. So to select everything, what I like to do to select everything, maybe you guys know this little trick, it is actually to just go Control A. So on your keyboard, you're holding down Control and then you hit the letter A. So that's select all. That selects everything in your document. So I'm going to do that first. So Control A selects it all. And then I'm going to go to the place in Word that lets me get rid of all the formatting that's applied to this area. So so I want to get rid of, the different font sizes and the bolding and the different styles and just bring it back to normal. And so what we're going to do is on the toolbar, and this is in the Home ribbon, we're going to that area where it has the fonts, and just kind of on the right side of it at the top, there's something with it's a little letter A, and what is it? Actually an eraser. And so that eraser erases the fonts for you. And so that's how we're going to get rid of the formatting. So let's click on that guy and see what happens. So it's done a lot. It hasn't done 100%, and we'll talk about that right away. But let's look at what it has done. So if I click on this first line, you see it's caliber 11. There's no bolding or anything else happening. And then if I click way over here on Connie's bio, it's caliber 11, and again, no bolding. So it really has changed it back to what the default font is. I like caliber 11. That's my default font within Word. Yours might be different. So it's going to strip your document of all the formatting and put it back to the font that is your style that you like as a default. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Now, unfortunately, with this method and even the other ones I'm going to show you, some of them, the other ones I'm going to show you, there is one that will fix this part, but this method and the next one I'm going to show you don't get rid of this highlighting. So whenever you see the highlighting like that, the only way to get rid of that with this other example I've shown you is to select that. So I'm going to triple click to select that paragraph. And then I can just go to that highlight it's just a little highlighter there, and just say, hey, I don't want any color. So that's 2 clicks. I'm not a big fan. If I had highlighting all over the place, I would not be a fan of doing it this way, because that took us we had to do 2 different things to get this document back down to bare bones. So if you had lots of highlighting throughout, we'll go with my third option that I'm going to give to you in a few minutes. Okay. But let's go back and we're going to undo this so you get back to the messy looking document. And let's try another method. So another method that some of you might be familiar with is that we can select everything and then we can put a particular style onto the text that we have. We're going to try this, but you're going to see how this isn't always the best way because it doesn't necessarily overwrite everything. So let's just select it all, Control A. And then to deal with the style, I'm going to just go to where it says on my toolbar here. See how it says normal right now? So it thinks it is normal style, even though it really, as you can see, is not normal in that it's not all the same. So let's just click normal. Nothing changes. If I go to a different style, like no spacing, things have changed. Now it's actually just the spacing that's changed. But now if I go back to normal, yeah, so it's not, so what normal does is it's putting on that style preference, but it doesn't change things that you've overwritten. So in other words, this area that I might have went and highlighted that area separately after it already was on the normal style, and I highlighted after that and I changed it to this Bell MD. It thought, well, hey, you changed it afterwards after doing that style, so you must know what you're doing, so I'll let that change be on you and you can keep it. So changing it to a different style doesn't fix it, right? So that's kind of one of the, maybe a myth here that maybe some of us sort of think that, well, if I just change the style, it'll fix it. No, not if you've overwritten it with other things. So Word thinks, hey, you're on your own now and you know what you're doing better than we do, so you go and change that. So the best thing for you to do is to get rid of that formatting, right? So Control Space is another one I want to introduce to you. And I just did that a little fast there. So I'm going to select everything again, Control A. And if I go Control Space is the keyboard shortcut that strips all that formatting. And again, it did leave my highlighting, so I'd have to go, and actually while it's all selected, I can just go here to the highlighter and say no color. And so the rest of it didn't have any color, but it doesn't matter. It got rid of the one that didn't have color, as well as getting rid of the ones that do. So, hey, if you're joining me, just say a quick hello, give me a thumbs up so I know who's there, and let me know if this is something that you have done before within Word. Have you ever had a time when you're working within Word and you're finding that, things are not cooperating? Just leave me a little comment. And even whether you're watching me live or you're watching me on the replay, I'd sure love to hear your Word stories. Or maybe it's an Excel story where things have just kind of blown up on you and you're like, ugh, it really doesn't look good at all. So I'm going to go Control Z to bring it back to that awful place that it was. Let's see. There we go. Where it's kind of a mixture of things. And then this time I'm going to do this third method a little bit differently. And this is kind of more towards helping with where you possibly have a situation and maybe your document's crashing on you all the time, or you're like, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. I just need to clean it up. Now, if you don't know what's wrong with it, if you don't know where the problem really is, then you might have to resort to selecting the whole thing and cutting it out of the current documents in and pasting it as a clean, unformatted copy. So I'll show you how to do that. Clean, unformatted copy into a brand new document. So in other words, and I see this all the time in Excel with my Excel clients, is that people tend to use the same file over and over and over and over again. So tell me if you can relate. Do you ever use the same file over, or maybe somebody else gave it to you, passed it along to you, and just keep saving and saving? So when you keep using the same file over and over and over again, then even that you might have a compatibility issue because you're going from one version of the program to another, and there might have been something happening in the previous version that doesn't work so great in the new version, or vice versa. So there's incompatibility problems sometimes when you use a file over and over and over again. So I would suggest that we you just get rid of the file altogether by copying and pasting that information out of there and putting it into a new document. So let's do this together. I'm going to select all of this stuff again. So I'm going to go Control A to select all, and then I'm going to just leave a copy of it here just so you guys can see it. So I'm just going to go Control C to copy, right? Or I could just use copy here. And then I'm just going to go to a new file. And I'm going to do paste, but I'm not going to just hit paste because I don't want all the problems. I don't want all the bad formatting. I just want the text, right? So I know this means possibly for you, you might say, oh, there was so much formatting in there. I don't really want to have to redo all that, but it's better for you to start from scratch and then not have issues or not be worried about losing your work because it crashes than it would be for you to, worry about keeping all that formatting, right? Because we can use styles to reformat it more quickly. So let's do the paste, but this time we're not going to just paste it. We're going to go paste special. So we're going to click on that. And then I'm going to choose unformatted text. I do not want any formatting to come along with that text. So if I say okay, then I don't even get that highlight. So that's kind of the trick around the highlighting too. So now I have all that text and I don't have any extra formatting with it. It's just in whatever the default font was. And now I would go File and save it, as a regular Word document, right? So what's going on here? Where am I going to save it? Save it in my course data. Sorry, I'm clicking along fast here just as an example. Okay, so Teams 2 example, we'll call it. And so I do, because I am in the newest Word, I do want it to end in docx, right? If you have people that are using older versions of Word, then that might be where you have to change it to doc. Now, yeah, this might be a whole other topic that I have to talk about. Just be careful, because if you do choose doc, then sometimes there's not as many options available to you when you're saving a version back. So I'm going to leave that for another day to talk further about that. But for now, let's just say if you have the latest version of Word, and as far as you know everybody else does, then just save it that way so that you have that. All right. So hopefully that helps you, that you can use this idea within Word or within Excel. The idea is, I don't necessarily want you to have to redo work, but when you're fighting with a document that isn't cooperating to begin with, and you're thinking I can fix it by piece, you're not necessarily getting to the root of the problem. And that could be codes that you can't even see. So if you've had it crash on you a number of times, and if you've spent, I don't know, you decide how many hours extra you spent on that document, you might want to consider, let's just recoup our losses here, and let's just copy the whole darn thing into a brand new file and do the paste special where I have it unformatted and I start making it look pretty again from scratch. All right, so just sometimes it's worth it to do that, and then you have smooth sailing from there because you know how to use Word. And if you don't, well, you can always contact me to get extra help on that. And by the way, that's what I'm here for, is to give you extra help on your tech. So please join me every Thursday at 5 in this group for a quick tech tip. And I'll be doing a few extra lives here and there. I've got some guests I want to bring on and some other things I've got planned for you. So be sure to always check in on the Facebook group for just a click away to see what's happening. In fact, it's a new month. So at the first week of every month, which is first full week, so either starts on a Sunday or a Monday. I think I usually start Mondays. First Monday of the month, I start a whole week of tips for you. So make sure you tune in and give me some feedback, give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're watching and you're liking what you're hearing, and hopefully you're learning something as well. Okay, so thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.